shit about showing, right? You stay this side also. You come on this side, right? See? No. Right. That's not.
We'll get some more people.
Serious.
रामायण कथा को ध्वनि ऐसे आनंद को प्राप्त कराते हैं कि जीवन को अंदर में जो सुख चाहने वाले आशा है वह स्वप्न को पूर्ण करने के लिए रामायण कथा बड़ा उत्तम है। वह कथा को श्रवण करने के लिए सर्व मुनि लोग अनेक अनेक प्रकार के जतन करके एकत्रित हो रहे हैं। वो मार्गेरी को जी to receive the message of Ramayana, the scripture that is second to none and honor all over the world today. To have peace, to have joy and happiness, consult to Ramayana. Whenever Ramayana or any one of our scriptures has to be established is a dialogue between man and God. And that dialogue continues like this.
सियावर रामचंद्र की जय. Sitaram devotees, as we gather here this morning to perform the Antishti Sanskar, final rites for this divine soul or this Atma which has begun its journey. So today we are all here, we are all breathing, we are all fortunate to have this breath of ours, this pran, this life within our body. And here as we have this vessel in front of us, laying without the same pran, without the same life breath within him, so too it is a reminder to each and every one of us who are fortunate enough to have this breath, or what we call as life breath, or pran. And through this we should make use each and every day as the sun rises. We do a little discourse from Sri Ramcharitra-manas. We will just sing one or two doha and some chaupai. The explanation is in the pamphlet which you will be receiving shortly if you haven't received it as yet. And I do hope that you feel free to please read the translation which was given for our benefit. So we begin this morning with a little invocation. श्री माता पिता नमः. ओम नमो श्री पितृदेवो नमः. ओम नमो श्री गुरु चरण कमलभ्यो नमः. ओम करदन गज वरण के वरवंदौ कर जोर. कृपा करौ शिवनंदना बुद्धि बरा सरस्वती नमस्तोभ्यं वरदे काम रूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धि भवतु मे सदा. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधार. वरनो रघुवर विमल जसु जोधायकु बलिचारी. बुद्धहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरौ पवन कुमार. बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेश विकार. वर्णानाम अर्ति संघानाम रसानाम चंदेसाम भी. मंगलानाम च कर्तारं वंदे वाणी विनायकं. भवानी शंकरं वंदे श्रद्धा विश्वास रूपिणौ. यभ्यं विना न पश्यन्ति सिद्ध स्वान्तं स्तमीश्वरम्. वन्दे बोधमयं नित्यं गुरुं शङ्कररूपिणं. यमश्रितो हि वक्रोऽपि चन्द्र सर्वत्र वन्द्यते. सीताराम गुणग्राम पुण्य आरण्य विहारिणौ. वै विशुद्ध विज्ञानौ कवीश्वरा कपीश्वरौ. उद्भव स्थिति संहार कारणीं क्लेशहारिणौ. सर्वश्रियस करीम सीताम न तो अहम राम वल्लभाम न तो अहम राम वल्लभाम। जही सुमिरत सिद्धि होय गणनायक करिबर बरन करओयनो ग्रह सोय बोधि राशि शुभ गुण सरन मोक होई बाचार पंगो चरय गिरिवर गहन जासो कृपा सो दयाल द्रवो सकल कलिमल दहन नील सरोवरो श्याम तरुण अरुण बारि जनयन करओ सुममयोरदान सदा क्षीर सागर शयन इंदु समदे उमार मन करुणायन जाहि दीन परने करऊं कृपा मर्दन मयन पांडव गुरु पर कृपा सिंधु नर रूप हरि महामोह तम जासु वचन रवि कर निकरण पांडव चारों वेर पव बारिज मोहे सरिस जिन्हीं न स्वप्न हुके बरनो रघुपति बिमलय पांडव पवन कुमार कल बल पावक ज्ञान गण जासो हृदय आगार बस ही राम सर चाप गण सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरण। नवो पंच सभी को ज्ञान तुझे ओलेगा। रामायण की अनुपम करनी बहुसागर पार चला। रामायण की अनुपम करनी बहुसागर पार चला। जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता। जय 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 श्री माँ राधिका माँ। जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता। जय 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 श्री सरस्वती माता। So as I said, devotees, we will now do two dohas from Aranyakan and Sri Ramcharitmanas. We will not do the explanation, we will just sing from the divine scripture. As I said, the explanation is in the pamphlet that which you have received. So please, the Hindi is not in the pamphlet, but the English, the explanation is there. It is from Aranyakan, Savory Katha, and I do hope that we take some essence from this. कंदमूल फल सुरसयति दिए राम कहुआनी। राम जय जय राम। प्रेम सहित प्रभु काई वो बारंबार बखान सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरणम। पानी जोरी आगे बेतारी प्रभु ही बिलो की प्रीति अति बारी। के ही बीडिय स्तुति करे हो तुम्हारी। अरम जाति में जरमती बारी। जरमती बारी राम जरमती बारी। अरम जाति में जरमती बारी। अदम ते अदम अदम यति नारी। दिन महमई मति मंदय गारी। कारगुपति सुनु भामिनी बाता। मानव एक भगति कर जाति पाति कुल धर्म बड़ाई, जाति पाति कुल धर्म बड़ाई, धन बल परिजन गुण चतुराई, भगतिहीन नर सोहई कैसा, बिनु जल बारी देखी जैसा, जय राम श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। नौरा भगति कहूँ तोई पाई, सावधान सुनो धरु मन माही, प्रथम भगति संतन कर संगा, दूसरी रति मम कथा प्रसंगा, कथा प्रसंग राम कथा प्रसंगा, दूसरी रति मम कथा प्रसंगा, जय राम राजा राम जय जय राम, जय राम सीता राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। गुरु पर पंकज सेवा, तीसरी भक्ति अमान हो राम, तीसरी भक्ति अमान, चौथी भक्ति मम गुण गण, करे कपतित जिगान सिया, पति रामचंद्र पर जय शरणम। मंत्र जाप मम दृढ़ विश्वासा, पंचम भजन सो वेद प्रकाशा, छाती धाम सिल बेरती बहु कर निरत निरंतर सजन धर सातव सम मोही मई जग देखा, मोते संत यदिक करी लेका, आतव जात लाभ संतोषा, सपने उन्हीं देखई प्रदोषा, नवम सरल सब यान चली ना मम भरोस किया हर सन दीना सोई अतिशय प्रिया भामिनी मोरे सकल प्रकार भगति दृढ़ तोरे जोगी वृंद दुर्लभ गति जोई तो कहूँ आजू सुलभ भई सोई मम दर्शन पल परमयनुपा जीव पावने जे सहज स्वरूपा जनक सुता के सुधी भामिनी जान ही कहूँ परिवार गामनी पंपा सरही जाहूँ रघुराई तह होई सुग्रीव मिलाई सो सब कही देव रघुवीरा जानत हूँ पूछहूँ मति दीरा बारे बारे प्रभु पद से रुनाई प्रेम सहित प्रभु कथा सुनाई जय राम सीता राम जय राम राजा राम जय जय राम श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम जातिहीन यग जन ममही मुक्त कीन्ही असनारी हो राम मुक्त कीन्ही असनारी महामंड मन सुख चहसी ऐसे प्रभु ही विसार सिया पर रामचंद्र पर जय शरणम शंकर हरि ओम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम जय जय सिया राम
Sound check. Sitaram, everyone. Today, I stand as a proud grandchild to honor the life of a legend known as Mr. Paltoo Ramdeo. Nana was known for his magic touch in the doubles industry, and without a doubt, will be remembered for this empire that he has built. Many would have known him through his various names such as Mr. Paltoo, Sud, Chingling, and most commonly, Doublesman. But today I would like to honor the role he filled so lovingly as a grandfather. Our grandfather gave us a special name, Brew. He got this from a movie that he watched, and because he would always find some way to put a smile on our faces and make us burst into laughter, he decided to introduce this name to us, and since then it has stuck. As a grandfather, Brew opened the door to a whole new world for us, one filled with pure love, an abundance of jokes and uncontrollable laughter, utmost happiness, many valuable lessons, the skill of upkeeping our dharma, enchanting the name of Bhagwan through bhajans, and not forgetting the ability to honor and respect people, objects, and the gifts that life has to offer. Brew enjoyed simplicity, coming over on evenings just to sit and talk about the day we had, cooking and eating together, and even a phone call to chat and make sure everything was all right. He ensured that we, his grandchildren, knew that he was proud of us and that he loved us beyond measure. The little things he did would forever be etched in our hearts, like the broad smile he gave when we arrived and the hard pat on the back he gave when we were leaving. Brew was our biggest fan. He attended every concert we performed in to hear us sing, see us dance, and play tabla and harmonium. He attended every competition we entered, Chautal, Sammelan, and Medi Desh, and attended some of our school events to hear Gita chanting and even to see us graduate. Brew beamed of pride and happiness seeing his young nieces and grandkids involved in the kitchen. He boasted of how well they could stretch bara, seke roti, and chunky pot. These were his gestures of love and the soft side of him which he occasionally displayed. Those who knew our grandfather would for sure remember his love for satsang since his days of playing harmonium with Pandit Siudat and attending temple with his grandkids and nieces to hear them sing the bhajans they continuously rehearsed under his guidance. He found joy in teaching us to sing different bhajans and play harmonium and going the extra mile to find song lyrics. No matter the occasion, he ensured we were fully equipped with song copies, ready to sing about 5 of his favorite bhajans back to back. No breaks, and constant stares from him to make sure things were going the way that he wanted it to go. Today we remember and honor Brew for his talents and unique persona, a man of many traits and a big heart, a grandparent who did what it took to ensure we had transport to get to school, extra change to purchase anything that we wanted, an abundance of teachings and survival hacks to stick with us forever, and laughter and happiness to brighten the day of his children, nieces, and grandchildren. Brew was the family's greatest treasure and the founder of traditions that will linger on in cherished memory. In honoring the life he lived, we would like to dedicate these 2 bhajans he taught us and enjoyed hearing us sing to his soul in showing our love and gratitude. Brew, we will forever love you and hold tight the memories you left behind. Atma ko sadgati prapto. May your soul attain moksha. Bhaju Keshava Hari Nandalala Bhaju Keshava भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला भजू गिरिधारी गोपाला भजू गिरिधारी गोपाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला मथुरा में हरि जन्म लियो है मथुरा में हरि जन्म लियो है गोकुल झूले नंद लाला गोकुल झूले नंद लाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला ओ भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला मोर मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे मोर मुकुट पीतांबर सोहे गली में जयंती के माला गले में जयंती के माला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला ओ भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला जमुना के तीर दीनु चढ़ावे जमुना के तीर दीनु चढ़ावे मुरली बजावे नंद लाला मुरली बजावे नंद लाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला मीरा के प्रभु चरण की दासी मीरा के प्रभु चरण की दासी शरणागत प्रतिपाला शरणागत प्रतिपाला भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला ओ भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला ओ भजू केशव हरि नंद लाला मीठे रस से भरो रे राधा रानी लागे राधा रानी लागे मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे मीठे रस से भरो रे राधा रानी लागे राधा रानी लागे मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे यमुना जी तो कारी कारी राधा गोरी गोरी यमुना जी तो कारी कारी राधा गोरी गोरी वृंदावन में धूम मचावे बरसाने की चोरी वृंदावन में धूम मचावे बरसाने की चोर ब्रज राम राधा जू की रजदानी लागे रजदानी लागे मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरे सुमिरे बारंबार कान्हा नित मुरली में तेरे सुमिरे बारंबार कोतन रूप धरे मन मोहन कहू न पावे पार कोतन रूप धरे मन मोहन कहू न पावे पार रूप रंग की छबीली पतरानी लागे पतरानी लागे मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे ना बावे मन माखन मिश्री अब ना कोई मिटाए ना बावे मन माखन मन मिसरे अब ना कोई मिटाले, मर्जी बर आने बावे अब तो राधा नाम मिलाए, मर्जी बर आने बावे अब तो राधा नाम मिलाए, रश बान की लली तो गुण दानी लागे, गुण दानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, राधा राधा नाम रटत है जो नरारो यार, राधा राधा नाम रटत है जो नरारो यार, जिनके बदला दूर करत है राधा राधा नाम, जिनके बदला दूर करत है राधा राधा नाम, राधा नाम में सफल जिंदगानी लागे, जिंदगानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से भरो रे राधा रानी लागे, राधा रानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, मीठे रस से भरो रे राधा रानी लागे, राधा रानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे, मन कारो कारो यमुना जीरो पानी लागे।
एक बार बोलो श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। जय सीताराम। Let us all stand as we begin the Antyeshti rites. This morning, as we clasp our hands together, let us contemplate on the lotus feet of Bhagwan Vishnu, Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj. Harihi Om. Yam Brahma Varunindrudamarutastunvanti divyaistavai Vedai Sangha Parakramopanishadai Gayanti Yam Samaga Dhyanavastargatina Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam Naviru Surasuragana Devaya Tasmai Namaha Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kansa Chanurdamardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Bande Jagadguru Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Parvanabam Suresham Vishwadharam Gaganasadrasham Megavaranam Shubhangam Lakshmi Kantam Kamalanayanam Yogi Virdhyanagamyam Bande Vishnum Bhaubhaiharam सर्वलोकैकनाथं हरे रामा हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे everybody हरे रामा हरे रामा 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 रामा 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. You all may be seated. You all offer the flowers into the box. We prepare for Sankalp. Panditishwar, other distinguished ones, our elders, members of the bereaved family, and everyone who have gathered here this morning, as well those of you who would be viewing through the live stream. The Antyeshti Samskar, we are about to begin as we have contemplated on the feet of Bhagwan on this auspicious day of Makar Sankranti, where the sun enters into the sign of Makar or the sign of Capricorn, which is very auspicious for us as Hindus, which also in some way marks the sun's northern journey, Uttarayan, traveling in the northern direction. The family have prepared for the ceremony, and the son's grandson, nephew, they are the ones who would undertake these rites. So the Sankalp is made at this time, the declaration or the resolve to perform the Antyeshti rites, which begins today and which lasts until the year comes to an end. Hari Om Vishnor Vishnor Vishno Adya Brahmano Hi Dvite Paradhe Shri Svet Vara Kalpe Vaivasmarvantare Ashtavinshati Kaliyug Kali Pratam Charane Trinadadesh Klakstanbe Grame Punya Chitre Bhuda Avatare Vartamanyata Nam Sanvatsare Shri Paushamase Shuklapakshe Dwadashi Tithau Shukravasare Ruhini Nakshatre Amuk Yoge Amukarne Amukrashishite Surya Amukrashishite Shashanke Cha Shashishu Makar Rashi Grahishu Makar Sankranti Grahishu Yata Yata Rashi Stansateshu Amuk Gotrasya, you take the family name, the family's lineage. Amuk Nam, your name as the ones who are performing the ceremony. Amuk Pretasya, the name of the father. Paltoo, Ramdeo, Pretasya, Antyeshti Karam, Aham Karishi. Om Shri Vishnavi Namaha. Place inside there. Now the Sankalp has been taken, the resolve to perform the rites. We begin by performing Snan on the body. As this holy water is sprinkled on the body, may the body become pure, free from all impurities, all blemishes. Om Adyamuk Gotrasya Paltoo Ramdeo Pretasya Mrit Snani Shaunimitam Snanam Mayadiyate Tavo Patishtatam Apavitra Pavitrova सर्वावस्थां गतोऽपि वा यः स्मरेत् पुण्डरीकाक्षं सभाह्याभ्यन्तराशुचि ॐ श्री मृत्स्नाने शौनिमितं स्नानं मया दीयते तवोपतिष्ठताम्. In the funeral home, the body would have been given a bath and clean clothing would have been placed on the body. But in the ceremony, the ceremonial bath is performed, and now the chandan, using the index finger, the chandan is applied on the forehead going down, and by the both ears and just by the throat. Om Adya Muk Gotrasya Ramdeo Paltoo Pretasya Mritsnane Shaunimitam Ghandam Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam. He Nanda Nanda Gopala Ananda Nanda Gopala. Everybody. He Nanda Nanda Gopala Ananda Nanda Gopala. He Nanda Nanda Gopala Ananda Nanda Gopala. He Nanda Nanda Ananda Nanda Yadhunanda Nanda Gopala. The perfume now. He Nanda Nanda Gopala Ananda Nanda Gopala. Adhyamuk Gotrasya Ramdeo Paltoo Pretyasya Mritsnane Shaunimitam Ghandam Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam Ghandam Maya Diyate. The chandan is the sandalwood paste the chandan. As we will adore Bhagwan's Murti, so too today we adore this body, preparing it for the Purnahuti. The ultimate sacrifice is the offering of this physical body. Despite the soul having left the body, come from the side, no? Come from the side. Despite the soul having left the body is still disposed of in a very dignified way. And so the body is adored with the fragrances of the chandan wood, the beautiful perfume, and now the malas. Om Adya Muk Gotrasya Ramdeo Paltoo Pretasya Paltoo Ramdeo Pretasya Mritsnane Shaunimitam Pushpamala Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam. We'll now perform Aarti. The sons and others gather. They will circumambulate. They will walk around 5 times, performing, touching one another and going around 5 times around the body. Those of you who can't stand, you are invited to do so. If you cannot, please remain seated. If you don't feel well or you cannot stand for long. Jai Krishna Hari Shri Krishna Hari Dhukiyo ki dukha dhur kari. Jai 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 Krishna Hari. Bolo. Jai Krishna Hari Shri Krishna Hari Dhukiyo ki dukha dhur kari. Jai Jai Jai. जब चार तरफ अंधियारा हो आशा का धूर किनारा हो फिर तू ही ना खेवन आरा हो फिर तू ही बेरा पार करो. जय 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 कृष्ण हरि श्री कृष्ण हरि ढुकियो की दुख दूर करी. तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत कर दे। तू चाहे तो सब कुछ कर दे, विष को भी अमृत पूरन कर दे सबकी आशा, पूरन कर दे सबकी आशा। जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे, जो भी तेरा ध्यान धरे। जय 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 everybody, जय कृष्ण हरि, श्री कृष्ण हरि। दुखियों की दुख दूर करी। जय 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 कृष्ण हरि, जय 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 कृष्ण हरि, जय 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 कृष्ण हरि। श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। You may be seated. We invite other members of the family, the immediate family first, who would like to offer the malas, the flowers, and after anyone else coming to perform the arati here on the body. We invite the group to once again come back on stage. Bhajans will take place during this time. While they get set and the arati goes along, let us all join together. Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu, Binati Itani, Suniye Suniye. Everybody, Sri Krishna Chandra Maharaj Prabhu, बिनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए। जिनकी कुछ ही अवलंबन नहीं, जिनकी चरणन रखिए रखिए। इसकी अवगुणा बहु तेरी ही, यही बार क्षमा करिए करिए। श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज प्रभु, बिनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए। दीन दयाल पिता तुम ही, निज धाम इसकी चाहिए चाहिए। मोक्ष दया बिना होता नहीं, चाहि कोटि प्रबंध करिए करिए। श्री कृष्ण चंद्र महाराज प्रभु, बिनती इतनी सुनिए सुनिए। We all sing together. Shri Ram Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama. Bolo Shri Ram Jai. Everybody. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Mangala Bhavana Amangal Hari Dravahu Sudasharata Ajira Bihari. Bolo everybody. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Shri Ram Jaya. Bari Bhagya Manusha Tanupava Suradhura Lava Sabha Grantana Gava. Bolo Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Bino Sat Sanga Viveka Nahoi Ram Kripa Binu Suraban Soi. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Ayodhyapati Ramachandra ki, Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. So we continue to have a few bhajans while the arti and other rites and rituals continue.
राम नाम ऐसे नाम रही ज्योति रत्न बरे प्रयाग गंगा जमुना सरस्वती सोपावत भरबाग कौन सा संकट मार गरीब को जो तुमसे नहीं जाती है तारो बेगी हरो हनुमान महाप्रभु जो कछु संकट होई हमारो बजरंग बली हनुमान चली करुणा कर पारे लगा देना हे महावीरा हर लो पीरा सतमार्ग को मोहे दिखा देना। राम जय जय राम, राम जय जय राम। दुखों के बादल घिराए, लहरों में हम घूमे जाए। दुखों के बादल गिराए, लहरों में हम घूमे जाए। हनुमत लाला तुम्हारी रखवाला, दिनों से आज बचा लेना। दिनों से आज बचा लेना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। बजरंग बली मेरे नाव चली, करुणा कर पार लगा देना। हे महावीरा हर लो पीरा, सतमार्ग को मोहे दिखा देना। सुखदेवन होई नाम तेरा, पग पग पे सहारा नाम तेरा। सुखदेवन होई नाम तेरा, पग पग पे सहारा नाम तेरा। भव बहिहारी हे हितकारी, कष्टों से आज चुरा लेना। कष्टों से आज चुरा लेना। हे महावीरा हर लो पीरा, सतमार्ग को मोहे दिखा देना। सतमार्ग को मोहे दिखा देना। बजरंग बली मेरे नाव चली, करुणा कर पार लगा देना। करुणा कर पार लगा देना। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम।
एक बार बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। We continue to praise Bhagwan. इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। गोविंद नाम लेकर फिर प्राण तन से निकले। इतना तो करना स्वामी, जब प्राण तन से निकले। We continue with the rites now. Panditji, we offer the first pinda. First pinda first. Pinda is offered now into the right hand, and after water until will be offered right there. Om Adyamuk Gotrasya Paltoo Ramdeo Pretasya Mritsnani Shaunamitam Ishtate Pindo Maya Diyate Tavo Patishtatam. We have one more bhajan while the other rites are taking place.
Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurudeva Maheshwara Guru Sacha Par Brahma Tasmai Sri Guruve Namah. गुरु चरणन श्रीनाई के बिनवत दौ कर जोरी शिव शंकर के चरण में लाज रहे मन मोरे कैलाशपति महाराज आज कैलाशपति महाराज आज शंकर शिव बम बम बोला शंकर शिव बम बम बोला जटा में जिनके गंग विराजे सर्व अंग में सर्व विराजे जटा में जिनके गंग विराजे सर्व अंग में सर्व विराजे सब देवन में शंभु हमारे सब देवन में शंभु हमारे हे मृग चाल वाले आज शंकर शिव बम बम बोला शंकर शिव बम बम बोला कैलाशपति महाराज आज कैलाशपति महाराज आज शंकर शिव बम बम बोला शंभु हमें कैलाश बुला लो धनपति और में दरस दिखा दो शंभु हमें कैलाश बुला लो धनपति और में दरस दिखा दो नाम तुम्हारे दिल में बसा लो नाम तुम्हारा दिल में बसा लो बहुत रमाने वाले आज शंकर शिव बम बम बोला शंकर शिव बम बम बोला कैलाशपति महाराज आज कैलाशपति महाराज आज शंकर शिव बम बम बोला इतना में दुख आप हरे हो आप न पूरे संसार भरे हो इतना में दुख आप हरे हो आप न पूरे संसार भरे हो यही पुजारी ताप हरे हो यही पुजारी ताप हरे हो, तुम हो तारन वाले आज, तुम हो तारन वाले आज। शंकर शिव बम बम भोला, शंकर शिव बम बम भोला। कैलाशपति महाराज आज, कैलाशपति महाराज आज। शंकर शिव बम बम भोला, शंकर शिव बम बम भोला। कैलाशपति महाराज आज, शंकर शिव बम बम भोला।
Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Today, of course, is a day that many of us would not have looked forward to. The occurrence of death is something that we cannot become accustomed with. Despite how many people die around us, our friends, our family, and even those who may be complete strangers, death becomes part and parcel of life. It is inevitable that one day we will have to leave this body, and this body, of course, will return from where it has come from. The 5 elements that exist and constitute this body are the same elements that we find on this planet, on Earth, and therefore earth, fire, space, air, these are the elements that constitute this body. The 5 of them, of course, very, very important, but the body is made out of earth, the flesh, and there is fire, there is air, space, air, ether is present in all this that has constituted what we call a human body. But this body, of course, is temporary. It is not meant to last forever. And therefore we are reminded from time to time in all our scriptures that the soul acquires the human body after countless births, meaning taking countless bodies before this human body is acquired. And this is why the Ramayana says, Bari bhagyamanu shatanu pava suradhura labha sabagrantan gava sadhana dhama moksha kardvara pahi na jahi paraloka savara. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. We must understand how precious this body is, how valuable it is. If one would ask the question, what is the most valuable thing that you have in your life? What would you say? What is the most valuable thing that you possess? The answer should be this body. This body is the most valuable gift that has been given to us by the Divine Lord. And of course, a chance to exist in a human body where the senses causes enjoyment and interaction with the things that they come into contact with, having the human body with the mind and the ability to make choices in life every day. This is what makes us unique. This is what makes us special. And from time to time we do hear the soul is never born, and so the soul never dies. That is something we must never, ever forget. That the soul is in a transition. It transits. It leaves one body, it takes another body. Not immediately, but in due time. But for now, the soul has left this body, and it has already entered into a body that is called the astral body, that we cannot see, we cannot perceive through our senses. And in due time, 10 days from now, the soul will take another body when we perform all the pinda rites and so on. And that body it has acquired will be the body that it will use in the journey in the hereafter. So life is made up of dualities, and sometimes that which we least expect comes our way. What are we to do in such circumstances, we are to do what duty requires us to do according to situations. And so situations, circumstances vary in life. And there are many ways to say the same, but sukha dukha dono rahite jisne jivan hai wo gha. Life is made up of dualities. We may not realize, but everything that you can think about has an opposite. It has an equal opposite. Like the night follows the day or the day follows the night, which one you would ever want to say first? You will think of everything else. Where there's the rich, there's the poor. Where there's ignorance, there is knowledge. Where there's birth, there's going to be death as well. So these are the dualities of life which sometimes we experience. Sometimes we endure lots of happiness and happy moments, but at times as well, grief and sorrow and sadness comes our way, my dear devotees. And so Bhagavan Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, this soul cannot be caught, this soul cannot be burnt, it cannot be dried, it cannot be wet by water. It is proof against all these things that can harm this physical body. The body, of course, being materially constituted, made up of those five elements. Through the body and the senses, we know what is pain, we know what is pleasure, we know what is happiness, we know what is sorrow. The soul, of course, experiences no pain, but the body itself experiences that. And this is why we are reminded from time to time, Ek din hami bhi jana hi, ek din hami bhi jana hi, jag chala jaat hai, सारा इसी का कौनती का नाही एक दिन हमें भी जाना ही एक दिन हमें भी जाना ही one day एक दिन हमें भी जाना ही we will all have to leave earth. We'll all have to leave this planet Earth. This planet Earth is described as Mrityu, Mrityu Lok. Mrityu means death. So that which is born on Earth eventually dies. And of course, birth is only for the body, death is only for the body. Jagat chala jata hi sara isika, kaunati kana hi. What we do in this life, it is what matters in the end. Not that which we have built, not that which we have acquired, not any of these things, but what we would have done throughout our lives. And therefore, life evolves through that one word that we call karma. Life evolves through that one word that we call karma. Karma, the law of action, the law of reaction. We say cause and effect. And therefore today, we reap what we have planted, and what we have planted today in the form of our actions, what we have done, one day comes back to us, the good and the bad, comes back to us in some way or the other. And therefore, today, we are all indeed sad that we are here at this home to gather under such circumstances, but this is probably what has been destined. On such an auspicious day, Makar Sankranti, the sun has entered into the sign of Capricorn as of today. The sun begins a particular northward journey. It is said this day is so auspicious that, for religious purposes more so, but even Bhishma Pitamaha in the Mahabharata, he had control of his life and he chose to exit the body when the sun began its northern course. The northern course of the sun is regarded for Hindus as a more beneficial time of the year, where certain rites and samskars and so on are performed only during this period of time. So, while we gather here under such circumstances, death is never really meant to be sorrowful. It is never meant for us to be sad and in distress. But how can we not? Even Sri Krishna recognizes this in the Bhagavad Gita when he says, Arjun, there was never a time when you or I or anyone else was never here, or a time that we have never left. We were all here before, and we will continue to be here in the future. We will never probably see this body after today. It is going to be cremated. It is going to be offered as a purnahoti, as the ultimate sacrifice. And this is why so much emphasis is being placed on the body at this point until it is cremated. After that, all the emphasis now goes onto the soul. And therefore, this body is the ultimate sacrifice. If ever we would want to offer the highest form of sacrifice unto God, it is this physical body, in thoughts, in words and deeds. Not only when we die, but throughout our life. The life that we have lived would have been a sacrifice that we would have endured for the welfare of God, for the welfare of our family, the welfare of human beings, and even non-human beings, the welfare of everyone around us. So today, of course, it is a day in which we also acknowledge the contribution of the deceased. You know, this family is a very well-known family in the village, in the community, and nearly everybody who is here would have known this family for a very long time. Some, like myself, the family would have known me before I would have known them. And this very yard, I remember as a little child walking in this yard. And the support of the family has always been towards dharma and righteousness and dharmic activities. Whether it has been through the mandir, whether it has been through various ways or avenues, this family has known to be one who has been propagating dharma and uplifting dharma in many ways. I have had the privilege of knowing the deceased for a long time. And I say my entire life, but in later years, recent years, performing puja here at least once a year. In the month, and sometimes, if not the exact date of his birthday, but somewhere around that period. Is it August? Right, I remember. Puja will be arranged here in the home and by the family. And the deceased would always sit and perform puja with family and friends. And that will be an occasion he did look forward to in recent years. Of course, preceding that, even before that, many years in Ramayana group, many years in satsang, and many years in the mandir right across the road, many years devoting himself to goodness. He has lived a full life, as I would say. He has lived a family life, doing what is required as a husband, the wife departing I think 8 years ago, somewhere around there. And now he himself departing. The children, of course, have now lost their both parents physically. But parents never really die. Their teachings, their presence will always be with us as so long as we like them to be with us. So today we acknowledge his contribution to many, to society, and we do pay tribute to him. Quite jovial, you know. If you remember, everybody will share how he likes to make jokes. He likes to laugh, and sometimes you might even get a little pinch and a little ring up. But that was his way. Always meant very well, and the hug and kiss and all these things. Very nice indeed. A very humble person as well, you know. Became known, I remember many, many years ago, I believe the picture appeared on the newspaper in terms of a doubles man in South Trinidad, am I right? And where he was acknowledged as a famous doubles man in South Trinidad nationally. Of course, preparing doubles for many years in this home with his workers, family, friends, and going there to sell. And this is how he made his living, amongst other ways. Brought children into this world, provided for them in every way, educated them, and did all he could have done in his life. And these are the things we must never forget, especially as children. and those who have benefited. So today we say, may God bless the soul, and may the soul find its place into the arms in oneness with Bhagwan Sri Krishna. Ek baar bolo Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki jai. At this time, I would like to invite Uncle John Boy, who is no stranger. He is, of course, the brother of the deceased, and it is his wish to say a few words on the occasion.
प्रेम से बोलिए राजा रामचंद्र की जय. This thing like a plastic and cover in the milk. On behalf of the Ramdeo family, I say God blessing to each and every one of you who has taken the trouble from far and from very close to come here to share in this bereaved family. In the Ramayana, Bhagwan Prabhu Shri Ramchandra explained to his brother Lakshmana when he was semi-unconscious. He looked at him in his face and he said, Bhaya, there was never and there will never be another brother in the world like you. Na hai, na how, na hoga. In this universe there will never be a loving brother like you. Na hai, na how, na hoga. And I'm not saying that he's Lakshman, but being the elder brother, and I know when my mother gave a birth to this brother of mine, it takes a good heart to stand up and listen to what, because he's supposed to do that for me. And I know the day he was born, we will never ever live in the Ramdeo family again to have another human being like him. He was extremely handsome. He was neat. He had a beautiful smile that few human beings, and he would make anybody laugh. I believe if you're dying and this man reach, he would make you laugh. And because of his handsomeness, and he was growing up, I as a man loved my family. And I said the best thing to do before he get his feet tied up, I look for a girl to get him married. And I met Dun Ram Logan, may his soul rest in peace, in Princestown. And we had a discussion. God works in his mysterious way. He said, John, I have a daughter to get married. Without thinking, I said, I have a brother also. I have a brother also to get married. And I came home, I cut in it short. When I came home, I spoke to my wife and I said, I see a nice girl to marry. As the girl said, Chingling. I come and I talk to him and say, who, me? Not me, I'm not going to do it. So I gone back and I tell my wife. And my wife come home and he hold him by his ears and he wring his ears. He said, go and get dressed, going somewhere. And when he went and he saw the girl that he got married with, that girl came in this family and she came as a light. Because the Ramdeo family, we were sleeping with our eyes open. Because we were backwards, we was way backwards. And when she came as a light, everybody, we get proper eyesight that we could be able to make proper choices, because you can't make proper choices in the dark. And it so happened they opened a little business, and when they opened this little business by selling doubles, my eldest son, Terry, must be watching now. He was Saibara in the wedding, and he was the first cashier in the business. And when money passed through anybody's hand, there is nothing could give another human being instant energy like money. And when the eldest son leaves, the second boy take over. And because of the instrumentality of this man and his wife, that beautiful girl, I could never forget her. The eyes open. And when your eyes open, devotees, you will be able to make proper choices in your life. The both of them fly out of the country and they're doing extremely good because of him. That was not impossible. What happened is that when they married, I more than 8 years of age, not old. I have never seen a husband and a wife live so lovingly like my brother and his wife. They were very loving people. They never quarrel. And I used to admire how they used to. They never wrong. He never tell she wrong, and she never tell him. They never look with bad eyes. Anyway, to all the pundits, on behalf of my brother, I humbly submit to you all. And when the lightning struck, because the, my sister-in-law got sick, and in a short period of time, she happened to pass away, and she passed away. The day she passed away, half of him died. He left him with stress, and he left him with real problems, stress and loneliness. Two things that could kill, that come like a little axe could throw down a big tree. Stress and loneliness is the other half. He couldn't even, she leave him, he couldn't even boil an egg because she never allowed him to do no hard work. And not long after, stress and loneliness in him, he had children, but all was working and doing their own business. Well, anyway, on his behalf, he said to tell the children that I love you all, and because of not cleaning my diaper, I think that I was wasting all their time. I leave my keys in the door in the house so you all can feel free to walk in at any time. My time is up, and I'm listening to my call, so I will be, any moment, I will be on my journey. So bye, brother, bye. But this is one thing I can boast and tell you, that you will never deviate from my heart. As long as I live, I will see you. Come.
Thank you very much, Uncle John Boy. Always a privilege to hear your words of wisdom and, of course, some emotion because of the obvious relation. At this point in time, a few words are going to be expressed by Ernie on behalf of the family.
Welcome everybody. It's not really a eulogy, to be honest. Just trying to, share some words really. And I jotted down something about 1 o'clock this morning. So the real great quote, if anybody know my father real good, the quote is, which side animal backside is big. Anybody ever hear that? No? You hear that? Go closer. I'm sure some of you hear that before, right? You know what I mean, right? So his explanation to that was, if you have to follow, if you had a lead, you had to follow. That was the explanation to that. And he used to say that when he was driving the bull, that you had to be humble, you had to face the butt. Right? So that was his explanation. You had to humble yourself if you had a lead. And that's what Baba really was saying earlier on. But that was his line, that was his quote since he was small. So I was asked that question, nobody really understood what it meant, you know. I mean, he had so many nicknames, and there are stories behind each one of the nicknames. I don't really know most of them. We only find out why they was calling him Brute today, actually. And then yesterday, I think someday we find out why they was calling him Chingling. And then he had a couple others as well. But he was born, as the flyer said, in 1949. So he had some real life stories because that was post-World War II, right? So there was like depression and things going on, you know, things was hard now, you know. So he said, real talk about how much yam they used to eat. I don't know, so boiled yam, curry yam, yam soup, I don't know, but he really like yam. So, you know, even I learned to make curry yam, no, but it was a real, yeah, I don't know. He did real like yam. And that was the depression before a certain government came into power. So you can imagine how bad it was then for them to be eating so much of yam. But there was also something during that time that he really, really liked. And he had a mule named Susie. Yeah, the mule, right? See, I was right, right? So he had a mule named Susie, and we hear plenty of stories about that mule. And plenty of those stories, and I want to mention this at this point, is he had plenty stories with my other uncle, Joe, who everybody know, who unfortunately passed away just at Christmas time, which we know was a huge catalyst into what happened now. But he had plenty stories with mule and all this kind of madness. But yeah. That was one of the things that we learned from him talking. You know, he always has some kind of story to tell. And you know, as you talk about the wedding thing, he talked about breaking down the gates in Metro to go and see Indian movie. I think some woman named Vijanti Mala, who I only discovered last year. Nice. And then at some point in time, somebody, we know the story, and that's a true story that I was telling about, and it had some other people involved too that brought them together. And that was sometime, and I'll give you the date, June 17th, 1973. They got married. My mother really didn't care too much about Vijanti Mala, but there was another woman that that was Madhuri Dixit. And let me tell you, the man had a pity of Madhuri Dixit in the room. And I tell you a problem, vex and stoops up and, I don't know, I think the pity. It's somewhere wrong. It's probably somewhere wrong. But yeah. And, you know, in 1976 February, I hope I get the dates right, because we're just trying to get some dates during the year. So at around 1976, they started to sell doubles. But he had a movie star look, right? So the story was, he used to feel kind of ashamed not to go and sell doubles and thing. And the other thing that he used to do, which if anybody know this man, he used to say, put what you have. Which meant he would have basically give away all the doubles, right? Come back home without any money. So at some point in time, my mother decided a car worked like that, and she started to go and sell San Fernando with him. And again, you know, you're talking about so much work, hard work, dedication, filling water all over the place. That was the most unfun thing I ever did in my life. And of course, somebody mentioned playing organ in the night with Pandit Siudat. And I was looking through the old cupboard and under the old bed and thing. There was a letter that I found a few years ago where he wrote a letter to Pandit Siudat. And he said that he was no longer going to go Ramain and leave my mother home alone. I don't think it worked out, but there was a letter somewhere. And I can't find it. I don't know where it disappeared to. But everybody have a story to tell. And I can't go on to tell all these stories. But I could use words that might give you some memories, some trigger words. Pagwa, everybody know about Pagwa in Ivan. That white bus going for the later years, and in the earlier years was the 720 pickup, and then before that was TAK something, 2660 or something. So you never miss a Pagwa, and everybody at some point ride that van. At some point, everybody who went Pagwa ride that bus. And Becky? Tell me, right, nicely. Together, he and my mother, they do a lot of treats in the temple. There was one of the first set of people who I know really started to do that kind of Christmas treats in the temple. They do it for years, I think plus 20 years, if I'm not correct. They didn't even start in the temple. I think they started before the temple. They used to do it down the hill, and then they moved and did it for real years, real years. And then, for some of the older fellas here, Lordy, and some of the other fellas, we know the excitement around picking mango and tambran and having to drag it out. I didn't go as much. Winston would have been more involved with that than me. And it had a next fella who had a nice little bulkhead there, Carlos, who everybody know. You know, the involvement that he had with every single Ramayana that it had, and every single wedding that it had, and how many people here come and contribute to the Thailand there, because at one point they danced out all the mortar that was on the floor. That's a true story too, actually. But that's, you know, that's just really sharing ideas and things for you to think about earlier, about how he lived, and I really can't tell you how he lived. All you know, everybody have an experience, so I'm just trying to say words. You know, personally, this is where I come in for my personal thoughts, and this is why I wanted to talk. I think he wants to, I want to say, ask for forgiveness. You know, real disappointment, anger, sadness. I don't know. I don't know how to feel. But I wanted to, one of the things every night, because for years we sit down and every night let's talk, and he shared many stories about real people. I mean, I can't even go into all the stories, but every night was story time. And he spoke very highly about foot to foot. There was one person, foot to foot, a nice brother, Winston. Right? Winston sits in there, everybody know Winston, foot to foot. That man used to say, boy, that's the man. Winston do, boy, everything we do together. That was the man. But in the later years, when you get miserable, you know, things just get a little different, you know? And to really put up with somebody who's miserable real hard. And this is me personally saying thank you to a few special people. This is close, eh? But I want to remind you all of how important it is to just kind of bear with people. I want to say thank you, special thank you, Uncle Charlie. Where you going? You there? You going yet? You there? I can't explain in words. I can't explain in words. Auntie Malty, every morning making coffee, food, testing pressure and sugar, and he vexed because pressure and sugar good. I tell you, man vexed. Kajol and Karishma. Kaji, if we are home, he know for sure Kaji coming in evening, giving him now food. He knows some old talk, he knows something. And these four people really, I want to say thank you all because you all didn't have to. And that's the difference. You all didn't have to. And there's one more person on my personal thing. I want to say real thanks. I mean, during the days, recent time, people came, Shamila, Masang, coming up, lunchtime, running up, to bowl of food. But there's one person on my behalf, I want to say thank you to Shanada. Most people know her. Most people know that he used to call she Dots. Most people know that he used to buy flowers for she, and I didn't need to buy any. But she really went beyond for both my parents. And she has many stories to tell, but she doesn't need to tell them because anybody who was around would know those stories. So I want to say thank you from me to you, Shanada. Thank you very much for everything you've done for both my parents. We had to put off the wedding for one more year. That's it. On behalf of my father and my view on him, he was never ungrateful. If he didn't say it to you, I'm saying it on his behalf. He used to talk about everybody, every evening. Thank you all for coming. I know you all brave different things to be here. Thank you all for your support, your love, your kindness, the countless messages, and everything. Hariom.
Vrindavan Bihari Lal Ki Jai. Very well said, of course, and some sentiments and some memories being recaptured. And this is what we will hold on to, Memories never die. We'll always have those in our minds, of course, good ones as well as not so good ones. So let us all stand now as we join. In closing, we all clasp our hands together once more as we all offer a prayer at this time on behalf of the deceased. In your own way, you offer your prayer and ask Bhagwan, as one day we will hope somebody will be praying for us. One day we'll be lying just like the deceased is in this box. It will be us. And others will gather just as we have gathered. And it is our hope that one day somebody will be offering a prayer on our behalf. Let us today offer our own silent prayer on behalf. Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajamana Harana Bhava Bhaya Dharunam Navakanjalochana Kanjamukha Kara Kanjapada Kanjarunam Shri Ram Bolo Shri Ram, everybody. Shri Ram, Shri Kandarapa Aganita Amita Chavanavi Nila Niraja Sundaram Patapita Manahu Taritaruchi Suchi Naumi Janaka Sutavaram Shri Ram Shri Ram Bolo Shri Ram Bhajo Dina Bandhu Dinesha Danava Daitya Bansha Nikandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Kaushala Chandra Dasarata Nandanam Bolo Shri Ram Shri Ram Shri Ram Siramukuta Kundala Tilaka Charu Udhara Anga Vibhushanam Ajanu Bhuja Shara Chapadhara Sangrama Jita Khara Dushanam Shri Ram Shri Ram Bolo Shri Ram इति वदति तुलसीदास शङ्कर शेषमुनिमन रञ्जनं मम हृदयकञ्जनिवास कुरु कामादिखलधल गञ्जनं श्रीराम 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 मन्त्रहीनं क्रियाहीनं भक्तिहीनं जनार्दनं यत पूजितं मया देवा परिपूर्णं तदस्तमे त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धु च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देवा ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि एक बार बोलो वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की राम नाम राम नाम राम नाम सबको जय जय सीताराम. Many thanks to all of you. Please be seated. My thanks to Pandit Ishwar for being here and assisting me, and the members of the group who sang before. We have just a few minutes of viewing. Those who probably did not come and view the body, or if you did and you'd like to view once more, please do so. We'll be leaving in less than 5 minutes time for the Mosquito Creek, the Shore of Peace. May God bless you. Sabko Jai Jai Sitaram. First one go out. Yeah, the cloth to spread out.
Alright, let's go, eh? Don't go ahead.
Hey!